हाँ. अच्छा. Very confident. अच्छा. What's your score? अच्छा. 88 to 90. Okay. Good. So let us begin the strategy for essay writing in Group 1 mains. Okay. Are you familiar with the syllabus in essay paper as prescribed by the commission? What is the syllabus for essay? You got 3 sections. You have to write how many essays? What is the time limit? 3 hours. Has anybody got experience related to UPSC preparation? What is the difference here? In how many hours? Technically you got 180 minutes. It is easy. Why? Generally, the strategy for essay begins with choosing the topic. Okay? And then brainstorming. And then presentation. And this presentation should be in a coherent manner. Am I audible at the back? Okay. This is a very fundamental approach to essay writing. Why I said it is comparatively easy there? 180 by 2, if you are good in maths, how much? For, what is the word limit? 1000 to 1200. It is possible. You get time to choose the topic. Generally, aspirants spend some 5 to 10 minutes. Because in section A, there will be 4 questions, section B, 4 questions. You'll get 5 to 10 minutes to pick the question among the 4. And then brainstorm. We'll come to this and I'll spend some time with you on this. And then you write it in a coherent manner. What is the challenge in TSPSC? Three essays. What is the time limit? So technically, you got less time. And what is our word limit? Has the commission specified any word limit? 50 marks each. I know. Word limit. Then how to manage 3 essays effectively without compromising the quality, content as well as presentation, and finish the 3 essays within 3 hours. How do you do it? Any idea, any thoughts about it? Acha, you reduce the content? Acha. Don't you think you are going to compromise the quality of essay then? Speed writing. Acha, not everybody can write as fast as you write. Maybe somebody is blessed with speed handwriting, neat handwriting together. Rare combination. It depends on how good you practice. The purpose of today's session is to make you understand the importance of test series. I don't know how many of you are having fascination related to this war battlefield movies like Troy, 300, Bahubali, etc. There is a fundamental line that runs through all these kind of genre movies. What is that? Survival. The more you are familiar with the warfare, the less you bleed in the war. You need to shed lot of sweat before the war so that you are very familiar with the skills and you are injured very less in the war or in the battlefield. The same thing applies in this context also. If you look into the schedule given by the management, strictly whoever follows the schedule, trust me, you will find your name in the top 10. Though this might sound like a bit exaggerating, But in reality, this is how people get into service, whether it is TSPSC, whether it is UPSC. I got 2 interview experiences with APPSC, 3 UPSC interviews. I did the same thing. Test series, as I say, somebody said compromise the content, speed writing. Follow the test series. Practice content, coherent writing, value addition. All the skills will be cultivated in the process of test series. And we have designed test series in such a way that by the time you are done with the test series, you are absolutely ready to the main battle, mains examination. Okay? Now, should we change our approach as far as UPSC essay writing is concerned and TSPSC essay writing is concerned? Yes or no? How many of you believe that the recently held prelims examination is moving close towards UPSC? Of course, uncertainty is a factor that is running across UPSC since years. And for the first time, I think, for the first time in both the Telugu states, such a kind of prelims paper was given. Every student was surprised. Now, if somebody says you already prepared for that paper, that would be exaggeration. Then, how should we expect mains papers? Don't you think Commission, Telangana Commission has given a clear-cut indication or a message to the students that we are going to twist the paper on UPSC lines in mains also? Now, should we prepare on UPSC lines then?
No, sir, because we have some
Acha.
topics specified here.
Hmm.
And in UPSC it is more tilted towards the philosophical ethics.
One section is philosophical. What about the other section?
No, like in past two,
So you expect such kind of philosophical questions may not be asked in Telangana mains?
because
Maybe.
we have specific topics.
So if I were in your place, I would be preparing all the topics. Why to take chance? This is the best opportunity to find a recruitment process. Find your name in the list, final list. 500 posts, it is not going to come every now and then. Lifetime opportunity, grab it with both hands. So do not leave any stone unturned. Try to prepare every topic and try to push your limits to the next level. The reason being, say if you strictly go by the syllabus lines, is the prelims paper clearly on the syllabus lines? Then there is clear-cut deviation, there is challenge. Most of the students I heard, they failed to bubble some questions. They just attempted only 120, 115, etc. What do you mean by that? You are not in line with the expectation of the commission. Therefore, my suggestion is prepare even philosophical questions for essay. If tomorrow there is a section, complete section is given as philosophical questions, what would you do? You prepare for the unexpected thing. That is a first fundamental rule as far as mains is concerned. Now, take my advice, prepare as many topics as possible. Okay? Don't confine your preparation to previous year trend of the questions or the syllabus lines mentioned by the commission, Telangana Commission. Question paper can go beyond that. So keep that thing in mind and let us proceed with the comprehensive preparation. Now, what is the expectation of examiner from you? Why essay paper was introduced? There might be a purpose, right? Why essay paper was introduced? There is a purpose. What is the purpose? Complete understanding of the topic. Then what? Presentation. Your viewpoint. Of course, whatever you write, it is going to be your viewpoint, your opinion, and your attitude is reflected. Personality is reflected in the content you write. Okay, I'll give an example. Since having experience for more than a decade as a student and 5 years as a faculty, we have been to many scripts evaluated over a period of time. Some of the students write the content in such a way that you don't feel like going through the content. Absolutely boring. Presentation is disgusting. And let's not talk about the English language and the communication skills and sentence formation. Some start the sentence on past tense, end the sentence with the future tense. Now you don't have to be having the command on English language like Shashi Tharoor does. Okay, Tharoor kind of language skills are not required for UPSC or Telangana Public Service Commission. But fundamental grammatical mistakes should not be visible or should not be appeared in your content writing. Then, as somebody said, the first fundamental purpose of essay is to check the knowledge. What do you mean by knowledge? Knowledge means processing information according to the context. You might be knowing several things. If I ask you to write about violence against women, or gender discrimination, child labor, crisis in democracy, corruption, very known topics, right? Very familiar topics. You got so much of content in your brain, but based on the context, based on the theme of the question, what are you trying to do? Filtering the information, processing it, and presenting it in a coherent manner. That is what is expected from you by the examiner. And second one is, he expects you to write concisely. Concise writing is always awarded. Concise writing means presenting your thoughts in a very simple statements, 1 or 2 lines or 1 or 2 paragraphs. The thumb rule is one idea, one paragraph. What do you mean by this? Whenever you are trying to write an essay on any topic or any theme, you will be getting several ideas, several thoughts. Each thought or each idea should be explained lucidly in a simple language, in a very simple statements to the examiner. So the rule is, what is the trend now? One nation, one card, one nation, one election, one nation, one prime minister. Likewise, one idea, one paragraph. Don't go beyond that. Now what happens if you go beyond that? You would be losing the hold on the content you are writing. Now, most of you, when was the last time you tried to attempt an essay? Never. What about 10th class? That was the time you have started and you ended essay writing. I hope everybody passed 10th standard. You attempted 3 essays, 1 Telugu, 1 Hindi and another English essay. Without this, you are not going to pass those 3 language exams. Okay? In this case, since you are not in touch with essay writing, we'll do a small exercise for 5 minutes. Then I'll try to give my strategy by giving you some inputs related to how to think, how to frame the content, how to add some case studies, statistics, reports, data, etc. and how to write different essays with different types of introduction, pre-conclusion, conclusion, what should be the content in the body, how to present, everything will be discussed now. Okay? So, I hope everybody got some papers, pens with you. Acha, you don't have anything. Very good. Those who are having paper and pen with you, okay, I'll give 5 minutes of time. If you do this, you understand how good you are in essay writing. This will help you a lot. Okay? So, please do this for your sake. The topic is cycle. You got 5 minutes of time and your time starts now. The topic is cycle. Whatever you feel writing about the cycle, write it on the paper. Just put it down. You have committed a mistake. You know what? By asking bicycle, you have restricted your content. No, when I say cycle, you should have written whatever you feel writing. Okay? Anyways, write on cycle. You write on bicycle. Let us see. Okay? And trust me, this will help you. Has done with writing part. You can read whatever you have written. Done? Done? Finished? Okay, let me check. No, it's okay. We'll discuss that. Very good introduction. I understand. Good. You spend some time in thinking. That is what is expected from the candidates by the commission. Chalo. Let's stop writing. Okay? When I said your time starts now, most of you committed a fundamental mistake. Everybody started writing something. You should think about the topic. What did I say? Brainstorming is the determining factor for your essay scores. When I said the topic is cycle, introduction could be anything. It could be like your own experience, or it could be the very evolution of the cycle manufacturing, or the purpose, or the components, etc. Now, he has written about childhood without cycle. What was sentence? What was sentence? Ever imagine childhood without cycle? He started with a question. So, in introduction, whatever you want to convey to the examiner, just say it in the very introduction itself. Okay? It should be like a hero introduction in Rajamouli movie. How does a hero is introduced in Rajamouli movie? By looking at the introduction scene in the movie, you understand what he's going to do throughout the film, right? He's going to do some unimaginable, impossible things. Likewise, make your stand very clear in the introduction. And then, as I said, most of you did not spend some time, 1 or 2 minutes on brainstorming. In exam, this is inevitable. Why? There will be some 3-4 questions given in each section, if not 5 or 6, minimum 3 or 2 for that matter. There will be choice in each section, right? Go through each question and pick up that question which is very familiar to you. What do you mean by very familiar? By looking at the question, you should not feel like, oh, I know this. That is not sufficient. That is not good enough. You should have a decent content in your mind, and you should have a decent presentation skills on the topic, on the question you've selected. Okay? Then, brainstorming. What is the purpose of brainstorming? Now, in this topic called cycle, I got several ideas, A, B, C, likewise. Whatever the thought related to the topic, I am trying to put it on the paper. Okay? For this, you need to provide minimum 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. This will determine the content. Whatever brainstorming session you do in the examination, you try to jot down all the relevant points. Say you got some 20 thoughts. Okay? Then, this is very crucial part in your essay writing. Go through the entire points you have written in the brainstorming stage and then try to give numbers. What do you mean by numbering? Whatever thoughts I got about the topic, I have tried to make a note out of it on a piece of paper in the rough workspace. Then I am prioritizing the points. Which point should be written first? Which point should be written last? What do you call this? This is called coherence. In your essay paper, there must be a relationship, a linking line or paragraph between preceding and succeeding paragraphs. There must be a continuous flow of ideas, and the writing should be coherent in the exam. If you miss any of these parts, no matter how knowledgeable you are, no matter how good content you present, if it is not presented in a coherent manner, you are not going to get marks. To put things simply, most of you know how to cook biryani. There are several ingredients, right? There is a specific defined process. What happens if one or two processes are interchanged? Does the biryani taste good? It tastes very bad, pretty bad. Same thing applies to essay writing also. Every point or every paragraph, every idea should be presented in such a way that there must be coherence in your writing. I hope now you understand what do you mean by choosing the topic, brainstorming and presentation. How to present the content. There are several ways of presenting the content. Like what? Somebody who are very good in giving some examples, case studies, having good memory about reports, statistics, data, this, that, etc. You can present those things in the form of a flowchart, a diagram, a table, a graph, etc. Now, having said that, do not ever commit a mistake of writing factual essay. Though you are very familiar with the content, you got a lot of facts and data inside your brain, don't try to showcase everything to the examiner. It will irritate him. Presentation should be in such a way that the essay read by an educated man should understand the content. What do you mean by this? I am faculty, I understand if you write something related to a topic, violence against women, but he is a graduate, he is not a faculty. While reading your essay, he must understand what is the purpose of the essay. Because your essay papers are evaluated by any professor. Okay? So not every professor is well versed, having thorough knowledge in every aspect, every topic. You are writing an essay on artificial intelligence or big data analytics. If the essay is given to sociology professor, he do not have any knowledge about it. But marks will be given based on this criteria. Okay? Understood? Now, there are some rules as far as essays are concerned. Let us start with the fundamental thing. Essay have three parts: introduction, body, conclusion. Now, how to begin the introduction? If you ask me, it has got several dimensions to it. One, you can start with a very generalized statement by defining the topic. Say, let us consider violence against women as a topic. You can begin your introduction by defining what is violence, why violence against women is increasing. Or if you got access to recently released National Crime Records Bureau, you can use the statistics. You read something related to violence against women in any of the current affairs magazine, you can start your essay with that. Easiest thing. Then, some people who are very good in writing quotations, you can begin your essay by writing a quotation. What? You are good in quotations? Anecdotal writing. That is called anecdotal writing. And whenever you are starting the essay with anecdotal writing, a short story, the challenge is you must end the essay with the same anecdote. Most of the students commit the mistake. You start the essay on a particular note, end it on a different note. Don't do that. If you start an essay with a quote, end the essay with a quote. I'll give an example. In 2014 or 15 in UPSC mains, there was a question on agriculture. I'm good in quotes. I started my essay writing with a quotation that if agriculture goes wrong, nothing else will stand a chance to go right. What do you mean by the quotation? It is strictly and directly explaining the very significance of agriculture. Now, the danger with quotations is some quotations are not self-explanatory. Therefore, once you are done with the quotation, within 2 lines, explain the quotation to the examiner. Okay, that should be done. Then, as I said in the same essay, in the same question, I have ended the essay with another quotation. What is that quotation? Future is of those countries having more grains than more guns. Again, I am trying to explain the significance of agriculture. Therefore, if you start your essay with a quotation in the introduction, end with a quotation. After conclusion, write a quotation. And both the quotations should be very relevant to the topic or the question asked by the examiner. Now, somebody who is very good in quotations, don't try to put in your wisdom without looking into the relevance of the quotation. Always you need to write a relevant quotation or anecdote. Now, as you said, anecdotal writing, it is a short story. So end the essay with an anecdote. Then somebody is good in conversational style of writing. What do you mean by this? You introduce two characters, Ram and Shyam, Geeta, Sita. Geeta and Sita, they are discussing about why over a period of time violence against women is increasing in different forms. So you are trying to introduce essay to the examiner in a conversational style. Then end the essay with a conversational style. Then another kind of essay introduction, paradox. What is a paradox? Paradox means two conflicting ideas or two conflicting entities or things or processes existing together. Give an example. Paradox. So in the topic I have given you, violence against women, India is a country where on one hand women are subjected to extreme, what do you call that, violence, oppression, suppression. At the same time women are worshipped as goddesses. Recently we celebrated Dasara, right? What do you call these things? On one hand you are worshipping women and we are interpreting women as an incarnation of goddesses. At the same time, within the same society, you are committing unimaginable atrocities against women. What do you call this? Paradox. So, if you start your essay with a paradox, make sure that you are justifying both the sides within the paradox. What do you mean by justification in this case? I said on one hand there is increasing violence against women. Spend some time, that is 50% of your body should be focusing on that aspect. Other aspect, why women are worshipped as goddesses, and try to link the two with the theme of the question, that is violence against women. That means as long as there is violence committed against women, there is no purpose or there is no any good that is done to the society, because the females constitute 50% of your workforce. And you could begin with patriarchy, you could begin with lack of legislations, lack of implementation. Likewise, if you go into the details in the body of the topic, you can write n number of things. Okay? And very easiest introduction is historical. Everybody has to read history. And you know what is the status of women in ancient India? Before Vedic times, what was the status of women in India? Society was egalitarian. That means women got equal status. They have enjoyed better status in the society. After Vedic times, what happened? Women were started to be looked as inferior being to male. Patriarchy was its peak, and then lot of social, religious restrictions were imposed against women, including her access to education, employment, etc. The same trend continued in medieval India. With colonial administration, there was a little change. What was the change? I think it was William Bentinck, right? Abolition of sati. What do you mean by this? A beginning was made to address the challenges, the trauma faced by women in the Indian society by legislations. And from 1947 till date, how far the society and the governments at different times were successful in uplifting women from oppression, suppression, violence, molestation, rapes, murders, etc. Now, what do you mean by this? Isn't it a chronological explanation? So this is very easiest. So among the just discussed 4 or 5 types of introduction, choose that type of introduction on which you got some stronghold. Now, how to understand what is your strength? Use test series as a net practice. If you watch cricket, most of the cricketers, they spend a lot of time in net practice. The more you spend, the more balls you face in net practice, the better scores you make in the ground. Same thing applies here also. 1 or 2 essays initially, they don't look good, to be honest, accept the fact. But use those 2 essays or 3 essays to identify your strengths and weaknesses. If your strength is conversational style of writing, work on that, improve that. If your strength is paradoxical writing, work on that. And if your strength is Historical writing, beginning a topic with a history. Say for example, agriculture crisis in India or agriculture challenges. You can begin with Zamindari Act, this act, that act in history. Okay, and just write about the chronology of how agriculture was focused in India after independence, etc. So this is about introduction. Then, how many words should be written in introduction? 100 to 150. Okay, not more than that. Why? You got only 30 to 40 minutes of time to write an essay. What do you mean by this? Not more than 700 words or 600. It is not possible to write 1000 words like UPSC. Okay, so 150 words to introduction, then comes your body. What is the content in the body? Whatever stand or whatever opinion you have taken and expressed in the introduction to the examiner, substantiate that opinion or stand in the body. Body is meant for convincing, persuading or convincing the examiner. You got a lot of time to discuss among yourself. Okay, look at me. Convince or persuade, convince the examiner by logical arguments, evidences. What do you mean by logical, rational arguments and evidences? If I am writing about increasing crimes against women, I should not leave the statement just like that. If I say, according to National Crime Records Bureau report released in 2018, this is the percentage of crimes committed against women. What is the difference between the two statements? I am validating my statement with an evidence. If you are writing something on agriculture or an economy, just bring in the budget document and economic survey. This is how you are substantiating your stand taken in the introduction, and you are trying to convince, persuade the examiner that you got good content, therefore you deserve better marks. Now, easy way to write some good content, relevant content in the body is approaching the content with multiple dimensions. What do you mean by that? If you look into your syllabus in TSPSC mains exam, you understand the relevance of memorizing syllabus. I don't know whether somebody has told you or not. Whenever you are writing any exam, you need to memorize the entire syllabus. Though it may appear like a childish suggestion, it has got a lot of worth in doing it. The moment you memorize the syllabus, for example, do you got polity, geography, history, economy, art and culture, society, science and technology, governance, ethics, environment, international relations, disaster management. Just recollect all these syllabus lines in the syllabus sheet. The dimensions could be social dimension, political dimension, economic dimension, cultural dimension, ethical dimension, environmental dimension, ethical dimension, security dimension, global dimension. What are we trying to do? Multiple dimensions were present in the content. And what is the purpose of writing so many dimensions in the body? We are trying to persuade the examiner, convincing the examiner. Now, this is how you can make a very good difference from your competitors in the exam. I've seen several papers. Most of the students, they get carried away. They don't know what they are writing, why they are writing. They just keep on writing something through the paper on the face of the examiner. Just keep these things in mind. Sectoral dimensions will come handy whenever you are writing any of the social topics. Just now I have given you some dimensions, some 8 or 9 dimensions. You can add as many dimensions as possible, legal dimension, ethical dimension. Now, when it comes to stakeholder approach within the body, say for example, the same question, violence against women. Who are the stakeholders on this topic? Stakeholder ante whoever is going to be influenced, affected by this process or by the challenge. Who are stakeholders? First and foremost thing, the victim. Who is the victim? Women. Then, very good, children. Then, family. Then, society. Then, governments at different levels. State government, central government. Then, parliament. for it has to do some legislation. Somebody said law enforcement agency, very good. How about judiciary? Then how about the oppressor? Men. Now, we just used stakeholder as an approach and then we derived so many paragraphs. At the individual level, how violence against women is going to influence. At the family level, at the society level. Now, you tell me, is it so much difficult to generate good content? You follow these steps and such approach. Trust me, you have to restrict your writing. అసలు ఫ్లో ఆగదు ఇంకా. You feel like writing 1000 to 1200 words, but you don't have time. So this is how, as I say, create content in a meaningful manner. Now when I say create content, don't just keep on writing some unnecessary, irrelevant stuff. Don't do that. It is not going to help you. Now, in body, you are trying to explore different dimensions about the topic, presenting the content in a rational way, persuading, convincing the examiner, and please read current affairs thoroughly. Why? In current affairs, you get across several reports, okay, released or given by several authorities both within the country and outside the country. Now, how to understand this? How many of you are thorough with current affairs? In this topic called violence against women, which report can be quoted? World Economic Forum, very good. What else? NCRB, very good. What else? How about National Commission Women Report? Then. What about Human Development Index? Global Inequality Index. Gender Inequality Index. What do you mean by this? You got 3, 4, 5 sources of current affairs as far as violence against women is concerned. Now bring all the content along with the numbers. Like, is India's rank improving or it is declining? You could write the reasons why it is declining, why we are not doing well. Therefore, this is the place where you get a lot of scope to bring in some current affairs. Add some reports. Okay? If Law Commission has said something on violence against women, add that. Any commission, add that. Justice Verma Commission recommendations are very helpful in value addition as far as the topic is concerned, violence against women. Therefore, this is the time where you can show your creativity as far as bringing in some current affairs and presenting it in a rational, logical manner. Okay? Now, we're done with the body. It should be somewhere around 300 to 400 words. Conclusion, most of the students commit a fundamental mistake. Like, they write conclusion within 2 lines. Fundamental mistake. Don't do that. Conclusion is having 2 parts. What do you mean by this? Summary is not conclusion. Avoid writing summary. Do not ever write summary. If you write summary, content would be repeating. Summary ante endi? You read a report of 300 pages. The entire report is summarized into 2 pages and is given as summary of the report. That means the same content is presented in a different way. That would be repetition. Avoid that. You need to focus on pre-conclusion and conclusion. Pre-conclusion determines your marks. I'll give an example. You have been to a nice wedding party. Okay? And it is famous for biryanis in Hyderabad. You have started with a soup, starter, some main course biryani, roti, butter chicken, this, that, everything, etc. While going home, you felt like eating the dessert. Okay? If the dessert doesn't taste good, what would be your ultimate experience? Would you say nice dinner, nice lunch? No. Why? Though you have eaten lot of food, inta dinnaru biryani, baundani, and you are not happy with the ice cream or double ka meeta, what would be your perception? You don't get high. Are dessert bale. Same thing applies to conclusion and pre-conclusion. Pre-conclusion is a time where examiner is making his mind about the marks he is going to award to you. How much to this content? Serve pre-conclusion and conclusion like a nice dessert to the examiner. Just impress him with that. ఒక చీట్ కోడ్ చెప్తా. It is okay the later part of your body is having some average content. But end the essay on a bang. Examiner should get high by reading your pre-conclusion and conclusion. Now, what should be the content in pre-conclusion? Content in pre-conclusion should be suggestions. Whatever the theme, the topic you have chosen, you have picked, provide suggestions to the topic. In this case, what is the topic? Violence against women. Now, in which way you need to write the pre-conclusion? Pre-conclusion, as I said, it should be some suggestive measures to the topic. In this case, it should reflect institutional suggestions, infrastructural suggestions, implementational suggestions, attitudinal suggestions. What do you mean by this? Let us take violence against women. What do you mean by attitudinal suggestion? Why violence against women is happening in the first place? Because of male chauvinism, if you understand the word chauvinism. Okay? The very feeling called patriarchy makes men believe that it is absolutely okay to hit their wife, partner, whoever it is, and who to abuse them physically or verbally. Why? It is there in the attitude. Therefore, for any topic, just on these 4 dimensions, infrastructural, institutional, implementational, attitudinal, your suggestions should reflect these 4 dimensions. Now, don't mix everything like a khichdi and present it in one paragraph. Pre-conclusion must be 4 paragraphs. Just now I said 4 dimensions. Conclusion must be 30 words, 30 to 50 words. And how the conclusion should be? Your conclusion should reflect visionary, futuristic, optimistic content. What do you mean by this? Just now somebody said there is a disaster management in a syllabus, right? Say for example, you are writing an essay on disaster management and you are writing on some earthquake, tsunami, etc. You are going to be an administrator, right? Always you must reflect a positive attitude. You must look at things in a positive way. There must be solution for every challenge you are going through, because whenever you are posted as a district SP, district collector, etc., the entire district looks at you. For what? For a decision and direction. They come to you, people come to you, sir, what we need to do? This is the problem. Come up with a solution. Likewise, you're supposed to have this positive attitude. Conclusion should always be on an optimistic lines. Okay, positive conclusion రాయాలి ఎప్పుడు. Global change is inevitable, or global warming is increasing. Very soon the world will come to end. Therefore, let us pack the bags and go to some other planet. Don't write such kind of pessimistic, negative conclusions. Conclusion should always reflect positivity. Understand? So this is what is my intention. This is what I want to share about essay. Any doubts about the strategy, etc.? Go on. It depends on the topic. If it is a philosophical topic, confine it to 300 words. Social, other issues, political, economic issues, it may go up to 400. Those are question tags that are given in GS papers, right? We'll come to that. We'll come to that. Acha. One is institutional, infrastructural, implementational, and attitudinal.
So there are 3 essays that we have to write.
Yes.
So you suggest that we brainstorm all 3 together?
No. Very good question. Very good question. Listen. Don't commit this fundamental mistake. One essay at a time. Do not think about all the 3 essays at a time. That will ruin your attempt.
So choice also we have to take one at a time.
Just focus on first section. Choose the question. Brainstorm. And then present the content. Finish off the writing. Then come to second section. Then come to third section. Do not think about all the 3 sections at one go, at one time. It will ruin your exam. Okay, don't do that.
Also, sir, like you told that we can quote.
Of course.
So should it, like, we have to restrict it to English only, or we can write other languages in Roman script?
Roman script means what?
Right, just like Yatra Narayam.
I think Sanskrit. Of course,
So
yeah.
if I write that in Roman script and explain it, so that.
Translate it into English.
Yeah, that's all.
Yes, you should.
So Hindi, English.
Yeah, anything is okay. Because,
Telugu.
of course, examiner doesn't understand Sanskrit and Hindi largely. Therefore, Telugu is okay. English, very good. If you write any quotation in any language, translate it appropriately. Okay? Anything else?
So like we use diagrams and flowcharts.
Yes.
in mains,
Yes.
and we repeat the same here as well.
Of course,
And
content should not be repeated.
no, not content.
Hmm.
How about case studies? Small case studies.
Okay. Okay. So, as I say, case studies, welcome to that. Case studies, flowcharts, diagrams, it depends on the context and the topic. For every topic, you cannot write case studies, you cannot present flowcharts, etc. Right? Chalo. We'll end the session now. Thesis. Philosophical. We'll discuss it some other time. We'll discuss it some other time. Okay?
All in one, then one essay should consist how many words?
600 to 700. Chalo. Let us end. Another faculty is waiting for you. Okay. See you later.